Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You probably remember this Citroen Dispatch that we bought about a year ago. It was basically falling apart. It was an absolute nail with some pretty poorly set up equipment in the back, but I could see the potential with the van, the equipment, and I bought it as a project to see if we could make something good out of it. Well, I'm glad to say that whilst I've been away from YouTube, I haven't abandoned the project, and it's actually now finished, minus the sign writing. So today we're going to look around the van and we're going to show you everything that we've done, and basically hopefully it'll be satisfying for you guys to see the finished product, because if you remember when we started, it was not the best. So the first thing I noticed when we got it home was lots and lots of oil leaks. So basically it stemmed from multiple leaks, and we have managed to actually fix all those leaks now. So you would have seen a lot of these repairs in videos, but basically I had to take off the sump, reseal that, reseal the lower cradle on the block. I had to change O-rings in the rocker cover, all the rocker cover gaskets, all the rocker cover seals, the cam cradle had to come out. Done all them seals. Also, we changed the cam seals, the crank seals. Whilst I was in there, Gates timing belt, all new pulleys, new water pump. So basically we got a solid van now. I also had to fix quite a few boost leaks. So as you can see, all the clamps are new and everything's sealed up. Everything's nice and clean the gearbox, because we don't really want it leaking oil on customers' driveways. Now, I did notice when I had it parked in the garage, it wasn't just one colour of oil, it was 2 or 3. Power steering pump was functioning fine, but I ended up actually just buying a new one and fitting it. And the alternator has been overhauled as well, because it was whining and basically making a lot of noise. So I thought it'd be smart to change that. But now it runs sweet as a nut. So we took it out on the first day of actually insuring the worker who's using this van, and within about 30 minutes we had major problems. Black smoke billowing out the back, power coming and going to the point where the van was literally leaving black lines of soot on the ground, and it would practically wouldn't even move. It had about as much power as someone leaning on the back of the van, and it would want to stall out. So I thought we'd take it for a blast, because the power was coming and going, and there were codes for EGR valve. So basically took it out, didn't make any difference. Started investigating the EGR valve problem, and believe it or not, the actual valve had snapped off the stem of the EGR valve, and it was rattling around. So quite fortunate really, I spotted it so quickly. So brand new EGR valve, another £170, and replacement clamps, and it's been absolutely perfect ever since. So that was just a freak failure, I think, because there was nothing that we had touched, and it's a very rare failure for the valve to actually, well, I don't know if it snapped. I think the design, it was pressed into the stem and it had come undone. So yeah, that was pretty much it for the mechanical issues. I think another thing we've done was new battery, and the wiring to and from the battery was very corroded. So I cut the wires, put new clamps on, and basically just made all our wiring safe, shrink wrapped it lovely so that it looks the part. And also it's gonna have a reliable current, because obviously we've got the window cleaning system in the back, which I will show you very soon. Now, not just that, we did have problems on the roof. So the van was pretty much soaking wet inside, and it basically boiled down to the fact that the roof rack had been installed improperly. What they'd basically done was they drilled holes in the roof to fit a roof rack that didn't fit, and without really sealing it properly, it was letting water in. So what we've done was remove the roof rack, and I actually welded up them holes, and then we've just touched it up with white hammerite, flattened it back with an angle grinder inside and out, and we basically just patched the holes up in the roof, and yeah, no more rainwater coming in. So that was a bit of a headache, but nice to have it fixed. Coming around the van, we had slow punctures on the tyres, so I had to replace the tyre. I actually requested a brand new tyre, but it just so happened that where we went had a part worn there, and they only charged us 30 quid, and it was like a brand new looking tyre, so I was quite happy with that. So we fit that. Coming around the rear, we had problems, if you remember, with the doors. So all the locks were missing, and the central locking was the only thing that basically controlled whether you could get in or out of the van, which was not a problem until one day the central locking stopped working. And yes, we got locked out of the van the second day that it was on the road. So without hesitation, basically bought a full lock set from a local scrapyard and fixed that. So we got new locks in the door, which was completely missing. This one was had a snapped key in it, which is probably what the original problem was. So we changed that out, and then obviously we got the ignition barrel as well, and then we had a key programmed for the van. Coming around this side, we had missing wheel trims, which have now been fit. Also under those wheel trims, there was a couple of missing wheel bolts, which we've also supplied from a scrapyard and installed. And then you might have noticed in the previous videos, this front wing was literally brown with rust. So I think someone had put a pattern part on it, and it was not galvanized or primered, and the whole thing had just completely turned brown, made the whole van look appalling. But that has been replaced for a brand new, well, I say brand new wing, from a scrapyard. And basically what we're left with now is quite a nice little van. So all we have to do now is get his sign written, which is currently booked in for, with the business stickers, and basically it's ready to go. So that's the van itself. What we're going to do now, we're going to open all the doors, we're going to look in the back, and I'm going to go over everything that we've done in the back to make it a safe, reliable window cleaning van for my staff. Okay, so if you remember when I bought this van, the main reason I bought it was because the van was effectively free when I factored in the value of the equipment that come with it. So that's why we put so much effort into actually fixing the van up, because it was a free van. Now the equipment, whilst it is quality, was not installed safely, properly, or anything, or even barely functionably. So without ripping into the previous install, basically the tank was just sliding around in the back with the cage unbolted down. There was rotten floor. The pump was literally in a bucket with 2 crocodile clips on it. Wasn't the best. So what we done was bolted it through the chassis. As you remember, we removed all of the fuel tank and everything else underneath, which has been bolted through properly. 800 litre tank. With this tank van, it's only got a 1-ton payload, so my process was keep it bare bones, keep it simple, because we don't want to overload the van. Previously it must have had about 1.5 ton in the back, because it had pressure washers. It was literally piled up to the roof, literally, as you remember in all the videos. So yeah, the tank's in, the cage is bolted through. I reinstalled the pumps in the correct location with new bolts, new washers, complete custom wiring loom, which I made myself, all the way up to a control panel, which I fabricated from scratch. I'll show you that in a bit. Those 2 pumps, the 2 controllers are up on the side door, and obviously those pumps then feed this, which is basically the nice part of this system, which is a twin electric reel stack from Pure Freedom. And as you've seen in previous videos which I made, they're really good. They ramp up, you can control the speed on them. Really nice bit of kit. So really happy with that. Also, there was lighting in the van, but it was literally bits of wire dangling down. twisted and taped, exposed, sparking, not ideal at all. So all been soldered, all been shrink wrapped and cable secured best I can. So now we've got lighting in the back and it's running off the secondary battery system. So behind this panel, which I've created all of this from scratch, there's a 110 amp hour carbon AGM, which is ample for the use of this van. And basically kept it simple. We've got lights, we got a fuse board for the different circuits and the 2 pump controllers. The van came with this in a box, it'd never been installed, so I thought might as well reuse it. Here's the box with all of our bus bars in and a Vitron battery monitor. This will notify the driver if the starter battery's too low or there's a problem. It will start beeping. So if the van's left for a couple of weeks, you'll get in, open the door, and the beeping will be beeping, letting you know the battery voltage is low on one of the batteries. So the reason for that was if someone's out working in the van, they might not be technically savvy. So if there's going to be a failure anytime soon, say the system's not charging and they've only got a day's work left, the Vitron monitor will notify them, then they can notify me and then I can fix the problem. So yeah, that's pretty much the rear of the van. Just a quality, clean window cleaning system, which is really perfect for the job. And all now in a clean, reliable, hopefully, old van. So it's never going to be a 25 plate MSRT Transit, but clean and presentable in the back, quality equipment. For the most part, that's all the customers are really going to be concerned with. If you look like the van's falling apart, there's bits hanging off here, and you know, it's not ideal for the image of the business. So clean and presentable was what we were going for, and I think considering what we've started with, I think it's turned out to be an absolutely lovely little van. So I hope you've enjoyed that update on this Citroen Dispatch. Would it have paid to do it again? Time wise, no. Obviously when you've got a full window cleaning round, your time's worth money. The time I got in this van, it was not worth it really to build it. But financially speaking, if you were starting out, would it make sense where you haven't got any work, so it's like, you know, you're not really doing anything with your time anyway? Yeah, it would make sense, because financially it's been very efficient to build this van for the level of equipment and finish that we've ultimately been able to get. So if you're starting out, you haven't got any customers, you haven't got any work, you've got a limited budget, then definitely is the way to go. Buy an older van, go through it with a fine tooth comb, get it mint and take your time, and you'll have a nice solid foundation to go starting your cleaning business. So anyway, I'll leave it there for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.